Welcome back, Truth Seeker. It is Tuesday, January 14th, 2025. The big story here in the U.S., the confirmation hearing for Pete Hegseth, the former Fox News commentator with a little bit of military background, who's been picked by Donald Trump to be the leader of the military, to be the Secretary of Defense. Of course, we covered how this nomination came on November 12th, 2024. Which is the Superior General's birthday. That is the leader of the military order known as the Jesuits. And of course, the Jesuits are the modern day Templars. That's why the Templar cross is in the middle of their logo. And what's on Pete Hegseth's chest? A Templar tattoo. Again, that was a big focus of the media actually on November 12th when he was made the pick, but they left out the part about it being the Superior General's birthday. So we're going to come back to how this ritual pays tribute to the Jesuits and the Superior General, and the history of the Jesuits publishing Art of War, the text credited to Sun Tzu, even though there's no historical proof of Sun Tzu ever existed. Again, for people who don't know, the Jesuit priest Father Amiot published Art of War in 1773, right before this nation was officially created, a nation that began with a genocide and has essentially been at war ever since. Of course, Donald Trump, who picked him, Jesuit educated. By the way, you guys know what the date numerology is today? Going with that CNN headline, I'll give you one guess. If you just read the headline, I bet you can guess what the date numerology is today. The way you get the date numerology, you just take the numbers in the date, you add it up, and you break it down to a single digit. So today is January 14th, 2025. So you get 1 plus 1 plus 4, which is 6. And then you'd add plus 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 5 for the year, which is 15. And 15 breaks down to 1 plus 5 is 6. The date numerology is 6. Again, you pay attention, you'll realize it's news by the numbers every day. So on the 6 date numerology, CNN gives you 6 takeaways from Hegseth's contentious confirmation hearing. I saw a little bit of this. The astronaut senator, I can't think of his name right now. He was questioning Hegseth, and he said, I just want true or false answers, just true or false, true or false. And Hegseth couldn't answer a single one the way he asked him. He didn't say true or false one time. He'd just go, anonymous smear campaign, anonymous smear. It's like, dude, if it's false, just say false. False. Easy. Again, these liars, they're just so transparent. And isn't it sad that the whole focus of this guy being sworn in as the head of the military, it's mostly focused on, do you have a serious drinking problem? Because you've admitted to in the past. A lot of people said they've seen you drunk on the job, drinking at the job. So this is a big focus. And then the other one is, a lot of sexual misconduct allegations from numerous places, including the people he associates with who have a criminal history with sexual allegations. Usually the company you keep is a true sign of your character. But again, who nominated him? The proud pussy grabber who wants to have sex with his own daughter, Mr. Mega, who runs on the highest degree of the Church of Satan. So what else would you expect from a Trump nominee? Anyway, again, you guys, our federal government is evil. Voting for the lesser of two evils is participating in evil. People got to wake up. Again, we're here to wake you up each day to what's really going on with the nonstop ritualism. And no, this isn't a Democratic channel. It's not like we're fans of the Democrats. Not at all. They're just as bad. We expose them just as much. But anyhow, let's just go through some of the headlines. Let's talk about Patrick Mahomes, who now all of his children are named after gold, silver, or bronze. He just had his third child as he tries to become the first quarterback to three-peat. Keep in mind, the guy who coined the term three-peat was also named Patrick. I'm talking about Slick Willie Patrick Riley, better known as Pat Riley. But Patrick Mahomes trying to three-peat, just had his third child. We talk about his child being born on 1/12. We've only talked about 1/12 and the Chiefs about 10,000 times in the Patrick Mahomes era. But we're also going to get into just how perfect the Hegseth confirmation is today, why they did it today for the 44-year-old in light of the nomination on November 12th. We're going to talk about 60-year-old Michelle Obama announcing today that she will not be at the 60th U.S. presidential inauguration just a few days before her upcoming birthday. The ritual couldn't be any more clear. Also making the rounds today is that Starbucks has ended their open door policies with their new CEO who took over September 9th last year. This making the rounds today reminds me that it was 9 years ago today. Starbucks was bombed in Jakarta. Just want to talk about that too. Again, just the nonstop news by the numbers, same stuff year after year. And then also in light of what we've been talking about with the LA wildfires, of course, 56 is the number on the wildfires. I've been talking about how LA in the post-World War II era, they ripped out the electric rail system down there. Essentially, the motor companies did, and decided to build big sprawling suburbs to really market the boom of the automobile era. And of course, climate change is a big focus with these LA fires. And when people think climate change, they think automobiles. And in more recent years, they think about the battle of, the more recent administration trying to really push through electric cars. Once upon a time, again, the electric rail ripped out of LA to help sell the automobile. But now we get the 56-acre auto fire on January 13th. And I'm sure you've seen the headlines about the 33 hostages in the ceasefire deal that will last 42 days. 33, 42. Again, just to remind you guys, this war began while Israel was 75 years old. Big focus today in the news on 114, 33. Again, if you're new here, this practice of coding numbers into words comes from Kabbalah. Within the English language, it's very simple. It's the alphabetic order. A is 1 up to Z is 26. It's the reverse alphabetic order. Z is 1 back to A is 26. It's the alphabetic order with numerology. It's the reverse alphabetic order with numerology. But yeah, 33 hostages. Anyhow, let's just go through all this. So Patrick Mahomes, third child born, just as the playoffs are getting underway in the wild card round. As predicted, we thought all the top seeds would win in the AFC side, so that the Texans would face the Chiefs in the next round, because in history, the Dallas Texans became the Kansas City Chiefs. But notice, his child was born Sunday, January 12th, born on a Sunday, the common day for the NFL. And don't forget, Mahomes' birthday, September 17th, is also the National Football League's birthday. It's also the Constitution's birthday. And don't forget that government and football both equal 133, like White House, and Mahomes played football at White House, Texas. Remember how his mom endorsed Trump the night before the rigged selection? We told you it was in the bag that night with the rituals they did in sports. But again, the Constitution was born 133 years before the NFL. Football, government, White House, president, they all equal 133. Mahomes, he beat the 49ers, named after the gold rush, on Kamala's birthday. Kamala from San Francisco, 112 days before the Super Bowl. The year that Mahomes beat the Niners for the first time in the Super Bowl, that was 112 days after The Rock bought the Chiefs in the Ballers episode on HBO, run by the same Jesuits that run your NFL. They've done so many things with 112 and the Chiefs over the years, but just notice how in Gematria, Chiefs equals 112 like Super Bowl. Again, the Chiefs representing Trump, because again, his mom, Mahomes' mom, endorsed Trump the night before the rigged selection. But again, they beat Kamala. Kamala Harris, by the way, equals 112 too. 112 days before the Super Bowl. Again, the team named after gold. Now as the playoffs get underway, he has a child named Golden Raye. He has a child named Bronze, and he has a child named Sterling. Sterling is silver, right? Sterling silver. So he has gold, silver, and bronze for children. But anyway, Chiefs, Super Bowl, 112. This was the NFL's image they put out for their Twitter this year on Christmas. It's a player from each of the four teams that were playing on Christmas. Mahomes, Watt for the Steelers, Derrick Henry, and C.J. Stroud of the Texans. Now you have the Chiefs and Texans playing in the next round. Notice how the guy sitting on the couch adds up to 105. Their jersey number is 90 plus 15. This is the 105th NFL season. Remember, Mahomes versus the Rams, back then Goff was the quarterback, combined for a record 105 points. The Monday Night Football game after the Paradise and Los Angeles fires in 2018. Wildfires equals 105. Now in the 105th season, the Rams are back in the playoffs, getting a big upset win last night after their game was moved to Arizona and State Farm Stadium, where Mahomes and Andy Reid and Derrick Henry now do the ads for them. But yeah, this was the Christmas Day image. Don't forget, Mahomes' birthday, September 17th, leaves 105 days left in the year. Again, this is the 105th season. But yeah, you can just see the box he's opening. It's like golden lights coming out, right? Golden light, golden balls all over the Christmas tree, golden foil on the presents under the tree. Now he's got a child named Golden Raye. And keep in mind, this was Christmas, right? Christmas is originally the birthday of the sun in the sky, per the Catholic Church. And in alchemy, the sun is gold. So just wanted to remind about these things. And again, third child, Golden Raye, trying to three-peat, be the first quarterback ever to do it. His children are Sterling Sky, who's 3. Again, Sterling is silver. Patrick Bronze Levon II. Or no, he's just 2. Excuse me, he's not the second. Patrick Bronze Levon, 2. And now Golden Raye. And for the record, Mahomes' next win in the playoffs, here's his record. Let me zoom this in so you can get this bigger. Patrick Mahomes, all-time regular season and postseason, he's on 104 wins in the NFL. So his next win is 105. It's the 105th season. If he can win 2 games, that'll put him in the Super Bowl. He'd have 106 wins advancing to the Super Bowl. Golden Raye, the name of his new child, 106. And he did beat the Saints this year, who are hosting the Super Bowl on October 7th, 10-7. So if he can win in the Saints Stadium in the big game and three-peat, he'll have 107 wins. And don't forget, that game against the Saints was 59 days after his father's birthday. Getting it Super Bowl 59 this year. So, what do you know? We've talked about this before, these star players, the ritualistic birth, the ritualistic naming, all part of the rigged scripted career. Golden Raye, National Fix League. Okay, moving on to the Pete Hegseth thing. Pete Hegseth. The word of the day was smear campaign, and just notice how that equals 78, like how he's teamed up with 78-year-old Trump, and Trump's now teamed up with Mr. Tesla, Elon Musk, who was declared the world's richest man on the 78th death anniversary of Nikola Tesla, and he's running around with I'm Dark Mega, which equals 78. And again, Jesuit is 78, like Scottish Rite, the rites of the Scottish Rite written by Jesuit priests. The Jesuits came out of suppression in history on the 7th day of the 8th month. But yeah, just we've seen a lot of 78 stuff. Cleveland equals 78. It's why we said years ago that Trump would come back as president. Age 78 is the latest Grover Cleveland. Yada, yada, yada. Hegseth, from his June 6th birthday to today's confirmation was 222 days. And remember, he was picked on November 12th, the Superior General's birthday. Again, Superior General equals 222. Remember what also happened on the Superior General's birthday? That was the day that the Laken Hope Riley killer, remember, she was supposedly killed on 2/22, February 22nd, and her name, Laken Hope Riley, equals 222, and she was 22 years old. But remember, her supposed killer, who's from Venezuela, like the Superior General, on the Superior General's birthday, he said he no longer wanted a trial. Just give up on his trial, just throw me in the cellar on the Superior General's birthday. But that was a big 222 ritual. And now here we are, 222 days later, the Superior General's man, the guy with the Templar tattoos on his chest, going through his confirmation in D.C., which is where the Jesuits set up camp when they came to America, back when they were being warned about by other founders, how they could subvert the nation. Like you're hiring a guy from a job and he's got an alcohol problem and a woman problem. You think that's the guy you want to lead your place? I don't want any alcoholics anywhere near my operation. Oh, no. A guy who can't focus on the job. He's too distracted by, the girl walking by in the yoga pants. Oh, no. Oh, no. And again, you just watch these confirmations as a joke. The Democrat gets up there and asks, a whole bunch of questions, and this seem actually like worthy questions, because that's the only way you ever get like anything halfway decent out of these politicians. When it's against the other side, it's like, okay, now they're asking some things that need to be asked. But then the Republican comes up next and like, we need you in there. You're going to end the DEI. We need the DEI over right away. That's exactly what America needs. Enough of this DEI. It's like, is that the qualification to run the military? To say I'm against the DEI? Yeah, I trust me. I think the DEI stuff's a bunch of trash too. But again, shouldn't there be some other qualifications here? Have you ever ran in any very large organization like the U.S. military? Well, I was in the military and I worked at Fox News. Again, you guys, it's nothing but puppet positions anyway, and it's been this way for a long time. And all of these rituals have always been by the numbers, as we've shown through each administration, whether it was Biden whether it was Trump before that, whether it was Obama before that, it's always by the numbers. It's the same Jesuits that run the whole puppet show, and they just put in these divisive characters. Here, just to go back to the day he was picked, the term that day was God tier. God tier. God tier trolling. And Fetterman says Trump nominee is God tier trolling. God tier, 78, right? Just going with all the 78 Trump rituals as Trump's back at age 78 as the nation's Grover Cleveland when he had his 2016 convention in Cleveland after the Cavs won the NBA Finals on the real King James's birthday when King James died at 58. And again, Trump announced from the 58-story Trump Tower that he was running for the 58th election, yada, yada, yada. But like I said, Jesuit 78, the whole Tesla thing, the I'm Dark Mega, you could have thrown Scottish Rite up there. Again, Trump cards, the top cards in the tarot deck, there's 78 cards. There's your Scottish Rite, there's your tarot. About how the Jesuit priest wrote the rites of the Scottish Rite, where all these things come together. The Scottish Rite have their big old temple in D.C., the House of the Temple. But yeah, Hegseth. What's the deal with Pete Hegseth's Crusader tattoos? Well, those tattoos look like they got him the job. You got to love how he's 44 years old from Minneapolis on the 44th parallel. Of course, that's always the number at the military. Trump and Mad Dog Mattis had a good amount of 44 rituals. But yeah, again, he was picked on November 12th, the leader of the Society of Jesus' birthday. Remember, the Superior General turned 76 on this day, and a couple days later, it was reported that Trump was the first Republican candidate for president to ever surpass 76 million votes, just days after the Superior General's 76th birthday. Again, Donald John Trump also equals 76. But yeah, this overlap with the Jesuit motto, Vi Sus Hominum Salvator, Secretary of Defense, Templar. It's a reminder we invaded Afghanistan on the day, leaving 85 days left in the year. It's a reminder that the war in Israel started on the same day, October 7th, the day leaving 85 days left in the year. From his birthday to his pick was 159 days later, like Donald Trump, like Scottish Rite, like New Testament, hello, Catholic Church, Crusaders. Pete Hegseth has the 55 and 44, like military. Again, he is 44. Secretary of Defense equates to 193, the 44th prime. Go back to when Trump and Mad Dog Mattis had their falling out. It was 107 days after Mad Dog's birthday, like military's 107. And it was the 193rd day of Trump's age, like Secretary of Defense. Again, 193 is the 44th prime, like Mad Dog, like Mattis, like military. Now Trump's putting in another 44-year-old, or another 44 guy, a 44-year-old with an alcohol problem. And again, just the day of these confirmations, there was also January 14th, 114, Art of War 114. Again, that's the Jesuit text. There's no proof of Sun Tzu ever existed, but it is known that this text is known about because of the Jesuit priest who published it. And remember, the Jesuit logo is the sun with a Templar cross in the middle. And just a reminder, World War's got the 114 like Pearl Harbor. From Trump's birthday to today's rituals, 214 days later, the Republican Party's 214, so it was Church of Satan. Again, the highest degree of mega, or the highest degree of the Church of Satan is mega. And the founder of the Church of Satan, Anton LaVey, died in a major Jesuit ritual once upon a time. Again, on the 45th birthday of the Church of Satan was the day that Obama joked that Trump would become number 45, with Trump in attendance at the White House Correspondents' Dinner, April 30th, 2011. But yeah, Hegseth, 44 years old. And notice that from the nomination pick, November 12th, to today, the confirmation is 63 days later. 63 is the 44th composite number. Composite numbers are those that aren't prime numbers. Pretty interesting because it reminds me of JFK. JFK was killed in 63. Of course, shooting equals 44, like execution, like kill, like military, like officer, like soldier, like infantry, like trooper. But JFK, he was number 35, killed on I-35, but he was also the 44th term president. He went through the 44th inauguration. Remember, elected in 1960, like Lincoln was elected in 1860. Both of the elections of 60 led to assassinations. This was the 60th U.S. presidential election where Trump won. only after his ex-wife died exactly 60 weeks into the first Jesuit Ignatian year. But yeah, the 63-44 thing goes together with Kennedy history. And of course, Trump's teamed up with RFK Jr., who entered the race in a Jesuit ritual on April 5th, 2023, 144 days after the Superior General's birthday, like how his father died at 1:44 a.m., like how his uncle died 144 days from meeting with the Pope, like how this year's election was 144 days after Trump's birthday. By the way, today's date 114, January 14th. If you look at it in reverse, it's 411. Remember, JFK was shot from 411 Elm Street, and the Andy Griffith Show put out the episode of a bootlegging family getting busted at 411 Elm Street on Christmas in 61, which was 144 days after Obama was born. And we'll get to that with Michelle saying she's not going to be there, while she's still 60, just barely about to turn 61, like JFK took office in 61 before getting shot in 63. And for the record, in the base cipher, Secretary of Defense does equal 95, like Tuesday also equals 95. Remember, the Jesuits' original mission was to counter the 95 Theses, and they were recognized by the Roman Catholic Church on September 27th, the day leaving 95 days left in the year. So that's our thing about his confirmation coming on a Tuesday. You could say it was 222 days after his birthday, as we covered, or you could also say it was the 223rd day of his age, which is the 48th prime number, and Donald Trump equals 48. So as for Michelle, it being announced that she's going to skip today, notice, we've seen this one many a times before, from her husband's birthday, Barack, from August 4th to today is 163 days later. Barack Hussein Obama, 163. And remember, 163 is the 38th prime number. DC's on the 38th parallel. 38, very interesting number. Energy equals 38. Kabbalah 38, where this whole thing of letters and numbers comes from. Gematria equals 38. English equals 38. But death, murder, killing, RIP, they all equal 38. We just talked about this with the childhood actor burning up in the LA fires 163 days after his mother's birthday. It's also just a reminder that, again, JFK's assassination was a big 144 ritual, and the foreshadowing for that was 144 days after Obama was born. But remember, when JFK died, Walter Cronkite broke the news. He was the first news commentator to break it, and he began by saying, some 38 minutes ago. And then talked about how JFK had died. Some 38 minutes ago. 163, the 38th prime. And again, we've done it 1,000 times before, but why not one more? Murder by numbers. The E's the 3, the B's the 8. They've been foreshadowing all this destructive assassination for Donald. And don't forget, he just got reelected on remember the 5th of November, the day in history the Jesuits tried to assassinate King James, when King James was the theme of his 2016 election, when he had his convention in Cleveland. All these little pieces of the puzzle adding up. But again, murder by numbers, the 3-8 in the poster, murder 38 and 83. Murder by numbers, the song where murder's the sport of the elected, came out in 83. It's as simple as ABC, 1, 2, 3 to kill. Sandra Bullock, 83, the star Murder by Numbers. The movie came out on a very special day to the Jesuits, Ignatius of Loyola Day. The day in history became the first Superior General. Again, the film came out 38 weeks after Bullock's birthday. Killing, death, RIP. Again, all these words, 38. The song Gematria, the killing name, where the chorus is, and we'll burn your cities down. Okay, and then the Starbucks thing. The CEO made this announcement yesterday, so this technically happened January 13th, but it's all over the news today on January 14th, and today is 9 years to the day of the Jakarta Starbucks being bombed. But just notice how Open Door and Starbucks both equal 114, fitting for this to make the rounds today in the news one day after the CEO's decision. And again, it's hard for me to believe this was 9 years ago, because I just remember when this was the news story. It doesn't feel like it was 9 years ago. Time flies. One police officer, 5 civilians, and at least 4 militants were killed after gunmen carried out a series of apparently coordinated gun and bomb attacks in the heart of Indonesian capital Jakarta. They blamed it on ISIS. Again, the Starbucks got bombed. at the Serena Shopping Center. The name of the shopping center had the 113 in it. Interesting. Kind of like how the Starbucks CEO made the announcement yesterday on 113. But yeah, just talking about the 114 thing way back then. So anyhow, 9 years to the day, Starbucks is in the news for different kind of news. It's better than getting blown up, but tough luck for homeless people who needed a public restroom. You go to cities like Portland and Seattle, where Starbucks is from. It's very difficult to find any public restrooms anywhere because of the overwhelming homeless problem. I noticed the CEO of Starbucks goes by Brian R. Nickel. Isn't that perfect? 206. Seattle's the 206 area code. The change was made as he began his 19th week with the company, Seattle 19. Thought that was interesting. All right. And then, yeah, just the auto fire, 56 acres. Again, climate change, 56, natural disaster, 56, Society of Jesus, 56. The fires began 56 days after the leader of the Society of Jesus, when, again, the first act of weather warfare is admitted to on their birthday. And we talked about how that tied in so perfectly with the Santa Ana winds. Santa Ana equals 145, 71, and 17. The day the winds began, 7th of January, can be written 7-1 or 1-7, but it was also 145 days after the Jesuit order's birthday. And that 145 was big in the Maui fires, which this has been compared to too. Fires that spread from wind. So this was hurricane strength wind in Southern California. Remember, the qualifying wind speed for a hurricane, 74 miles per hour. From Maui's fire to this one, exactly 74 weeks. Weapon and energy also equals 74. Other familiar numbers we've seen all over this fire, because they keep referred to as apocalyptic. The fires began on the 121st day of the state's age. Apocalyptic and Revelation both equal 121 and 49, like auto fire. But yeah, just the city that was used to market the automobile, now in the age of climate change and carbon crackdowns. Got to get the headlines out there about the auto fire. By the way, just about LA and the game last night that got moved to State Farm Stadium. You see how wildfires is 105 and 51, 105th NFL season right now. Again, Mahomes and the Rams combined for a record 105 points right after the wildfires back in 2018. But you see the 51, Rams equals 51, Moon equals 51. Moon and Rams are both 57. One of the highlights was a 57-yard defensive touchdown. But home teams became 5-1 in the wild card round. The Rams were the home team last night, even though they played in Arizona. Home teams became 5-1 with the wildfires a burning, in the 105th season. Again, planned news, scripted sports, perfect rituals. If you're watching the news, you've seen where they do the overhead shots and they say, man, it looks like a war zone. Remember, the Ram is the god of war. Remember, Sean McVay was getting engaged to his Ukrainian fiance right after they won Super Bowl 56. The war that was synced up with the Pope and the Superior General. Remember, the Pope was even in Ukraine on the 56th day of the year. But again, the Rams have the same colors as Ukraine. That war breaks out right after the Rams win the Super Bowl. The NATO meeting happens in the time of Aries, which is the Rams synced up with the Super Bowl. Now it's an act of weather warfare on LA. And again, just drawing some serious parallels back to what happened in 2018, the first year that Mahomes was a starter. So they're saying the winds are supposed to let up tomorrow on a Wednesday. The wind's going to let up on a Wednesday. And remember, think about Wednesday. Wednesday has that 44 and 37 connection. Military's 44. Weather's 37. Los Angeles is 37. Kept the winds a fan until Wednesday. I see the Princess of Wales is back in for the cancer thing. Hold up. Didn't this come up on November 18th last year? What's her name again? Catherine. Hold up. I want to go back and see when this was last in the news. I want to say it was November 18th last year. Or, God, the reason I say November 18th is because that's normally the 322nd day of the year. Man, time flies by. It was March 22nd. It was 322. That's when it was. Okay. That also blows my mind. The way time just melts away because I didn't feel like it was that long ago. Wow, almost a year ago already. Man. Woo! Telling you, all you young people, make good use of your time. I swear we just don't have enough time on this place. We've got a little one, then you have even less time than ever. All right, so they announced this on March 22nd last year. So that would have been the 82nd day of the leap year. "42 weeks and days later." Interesting. She does have that 42 in her name, Middleton. All right, hold on. She just turned 43. Thus, she's in her 44th year of life, the big Cancer number. It's just days after her birthday. Okay. She just began her 44th year of life. Remember, in the most simple cipher, Cancer's 44, like chemo, like kill. All right. All right. Well, I wanted to keep this one short and sweet, and I got to hop on the Patreon. Our Patreon live stream is about to start at 2 Pacific, 5 Eastern. The Biden stepping down, like I said, if it didn't happen in 2024, it looks like slim odds because it made a lot more sense for it to happen then. Hey, there's still a few more days, but looks like that is one thing we will be wrong about. We did say there'd be a transition of power from Biden to Kamala when he was 81 and she was 59. We saw that with the pass the torch in the election, but we didn't see him step all the way out of office. The prophecy of Gerald Ford only has days to happen. So there's still a chance. As we knew, though, we knew all the time it could make sense if they put Trump back in there as 47 or 48 could have made sense for Trump, but there has been a lot more 47 with that man than 48. Shout out to Chris, who's always very generous. He said I won on 4 different parlays using $70 and made over $3,600. If home teams went out in the division round and championship round leading up to the Super Bowl, home teams would be 11-1. That would be favorable for Mahomes. Yeah, the AFC is the designated road team this year. The NFC is the home team in odd years. Good thinking, Chris, and congrats, 70 to 3,600. That's not bad. That's better than times 50. So appreciate the tip. That's what we teach you how to do. Be modest with the bets and how to multiply your money and not waste it on stupid stuff. And again, a lot of people have done just things like that right there. Small sums become a lot bigger sums. Well done, Chris. All right, True Sticker. We'll leave it there. Thanks to everyone who hits the like and the share. And until next time.